So I'm going to echo some of the remarks by Dr. Steenkamp and the Chancellor. You know, it is a time of change. Global change is testing us, our laws, our governments, our societies. And as predicted by scientists over a century ago, we are seeing climate-driven calamity, unpredictability, social upheaval, and I dare say sometimes the collapsing of ecosystems. And under times of such stress, countries do swing politically to the right. We're seeing that. Governments become more authoritarian. They start to crack down on human rights, rights of nature. They close borders. They become more nationalistic. They increase resource extraction. But my work in forests, grounded in the connection to the natural laws of the forest, that the cycles and connections and reciprocal relationships and how they work, such as the old nourishing the young, how water naturally flows, how carbon and nutrients are cycled, that this is wired to create balance and uplift future generations. It's wired in us. Our Indigenous brothers and sisters know this. It's been the foundation of their knowledge systems and their governance systems to maintain balance and uplift future generations. But unfortunately, isolationist governance ignore these natural laws to our peril. And so it's even more important in these times for local movements, grassroots movements, people working together to continue their work to protect our natural ecosystems and the people. And there's many examples throughout history of groups doing this to protect our systems, to protect civilizations. So I'm just going to give you a few examples. In medieval times, the monastic monks copied and preserved ancient Sanskrit texts. I recently met a Buddhist nun who is such a translator, and she showed me how this is done. And this contributed to the preservation of knowledge and culture during the Dark Ages. With the fall of Constantinople, the Roman Empire by the Ottomans, the scholars fled to Italy, bringing their art and literature, and that spawned the Renaissance. In the advance of World War II, works of art, including the Mona Lisa, were evacuated from the Louvre 6 times. Mona Lisa still exists today. Here on the Pacific coast, the Kwakwaka'wakw chiefs, the Nuu-chah-nulth chiefs continued to potlatch underground after it was outlawed by the government. And today there is a resurgence. When indigenous burning was banned to save the forest for timber extraction, the practices were kept in oral history. And the worldview, Netsamas, that we are one, it was ignored and ridiculed, but this is actually the way forward to solving the climate crisis. Indigenous epistemology, Buddhist non-dualism, that we're all relational, built on the principles of respect, reciprocity, and responsibility. And might I add, connection, complexity, and compassion, is an essential foundation for working together to recover and preserve human rights, rights of nature, to rebalance for our children, our grandchildren, for you. So here we are at a crossroads. But this is where our grassroots and courageous work to protect our rights, to protect the rights of nature, to follow the natural laws becomes even more essential. In my research in forests, I see several essential things to solving in the way forests can, these interwoven crises. And so the first is to work collectively in community with compassion to save our forests, our waters, our homes. This means recovering land back, taking tenures back from the industrial giants and redistributing them among the rightful owners of the land. That includes, of course, the indigenous people. Supporting good governance by governments and institutions and political entities that are focused on solutions, not in tearing us apart, and lending our voices and ideas to those that are leading the way. This includes protecting our old-growth forests and the primary forests. And this includes us being on the lines to do that protection. And then also restoring the forests that have been damaged through the industrial movement or the industrialization over the last century. These places need care and tending. We cannot turn our backs on them. We must care for them as well. So there are so many things we can do. Another part of my research is looking at how to tend forests that are still being managed for some timber. We can do this too. You know, we can protect these places, saving the mother trees, protecting the regeneration, protecting the values and the systems, ensuring the cycles and connections are intact. But it has to be done with a great deal of care and stewardship, knowing the place, knowing our place. So in times of these, I remember the words of my Indigenous colleagues, Dr. Teresa Ryan of the Tsimshian Nation, who remind us of Gudumgoy, we are one heart. Of the Nechonleth people, Natsamats, we are all connected as one. Hereditary Chief Randy Cook of the Montaguila Nation, who reminds us that this oneness extends beyond our lives, more aligned with the large cycles of the forest that are thousands of years. Of the Green Party leader, Sonia Furstenau, who will continue to lead in spite of losing her seat as an MLA, and she will know that she still plays a role as a leader in that uplifting one means uplifting us all. Of Minari, the Sapara shaman from Ecuador, who told us that we have everything here to solve these problems. We have ourselves, our intellects, we have the forest, the spores, the seeds, the soil. We have it all to solve these problems. But we have to focus on the work, and we have to focus on it, doing it together. And he reminded us that there are grassroots movements all over the world working to solve these problems every single day, all over in every corner of the world. And that the shamans understood that as we do this work, we will solve these problems. And that was his message to us. Work together, we can do it. So yes, we have work to do it. Let's do it. Onward. Thank you so much.